Detective Jonathan Diller returns to court today. Lindy Jones was allegedly driving the car with Diller's alleged killer inside and now faces 15 years in prison. Officer Diller was laid to rest Saturday on Long Island, surrounded by thousands of supporters and fellow officers. The work not stopping to clear the channel that leads to the busy port of Baltimore.
Maryland Democratic Governor Wes Moore said while there were 6 lives lost on the Francis Scott Key Bridge, collapsed when a cargo ship crashed into it, there are more priorities for him. On Fox News Sunday, he said reopening access to Baltimore's port and learning what led to the tragedy are important.
I want that investigation to be speedy and for anyone who needs to be held accountable to be held accountable. And at the same time, we have got to get this channel opened. We have got to get commerce flowing again, and we have got to rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
The Biden administration is pledging the federal government will pay for that rebuild. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Israel's prime minister is facing calls for his ouster from people of his own country.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu once again rejecting calls for an early election. This after thousands of protesters took to the streets this weekend demanding he step down. They're also demanding the release of all hostages in Gaza. Netanyahu claims the elections would only help Hamas and derail ongoing hostage negotiations. He also continues to stress that a ground invasion in Gaza's crowded Rafah city is necessary to defeat Hamas. More protests are expected.
That is Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's surgery for a hernia was a success. He's awake and conversing with family members. That is according to the hospital where the prime minister was having the surgery. Doctors diagnosed Netanyahu's hernia during a routine checkup Saturday night. America's listening to Fox News.
Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan. Help protect your information with LifeLock. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
And ailing Pope Francis delighting Christians and Catholics around the world by presiding over Easter Sunday Mass.
Pope Francis has been battling episodes of bronchitis and the flu over the past few months. He appeared happy, healthy, and in good spirits. He delivered his Easter message from St. Peter's Basilica after morning Mass. Thousands gathered to hear from him. Pope Francis also addressed the ongoing violence in Haiti, praying for the Lord to help people there as they fight to survive hunger and violence.
May the risen Lord assist the Haitian people so that there can soon be an end to the acts of violence, devastation, and bloodshed in that country.
Pathways to Peace was a large part of his message this Easter Sunday.
And that is Fox's Christina Coleman. Meanwhile, the top U.S. diplomat is traveling overseas for a major NATO meeting this week. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken will travel to France and Belgium starting this week. In France, the State Department says Blinken will meet with Emmanuel Macron to discuss the ongoing war in Israel and efforts to, quote, prevent escalation of the conflict in Gaza. The secretary will then head to Brussels for the NATO foreign ministers meeting,
which coincides with the 75th anniversary of NATO on April 4th.
State Department spokesman Matthew Miller. The meeting comes as the UN approved a ceasefire resolution concerning Israel and Gaza, and the U.S. faced pushback from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the Biden administration's decision to abstain and not to veto. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Well, starting today in California, the new minimum wage for fast food workers climbs to $20 per hour. The new law going into effect likely to affect customers, could mean price hikes and the possibility of smaller serving sizes as restaurant owners try to pay for the new wage. It was supported by the trade association representing fast food franchise owners. It applies to chains with more than 60 locations nationwide. I'm Gianna Gelosi. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. University of Illinois Board of Trustees voted to extend the contract of system president Tim Killeen. New contract will keep Killeen as Illinois president through at least 2027. He served as University of Illinois president since 2015. Black business leaders say Illinois colleges and universities can do more to hire black vendors. Advocates told the Higher Education and Appropriations Committee in Springfield many higher education institutions are only members of the local chambers of commerce. They said community colleges and universities need to participate in minority business associations. A familiar name back as Decatur's next city manager. Decatur's Mayor Julie Moore Wolf announcing her intention to hire Tom Gleason to succeed Scott Wrighton as city manager. Wrighton's retiring in May. Gleason was Decatur's city manager before he took the same job in Bloomington 6 years ago. Wolf says Gleason's the right person for the job and that Decatur deserves the very best. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, hey, it's Monday. It's 4-1-24.
Yes,
so
welcome to April.
Welcome to the second quarter.
Mm-hmm. That's true, too. We had to get our... first quarter report
all
with
the stuff
FCC,
we do,
the
everything
issues
is
and programming report,
working on all our things to get into April 1, and then of course we did have a basketball game over the weekend.
Oh, we did?
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
I don't know if they played yesterday because since Illinois lost Solier, I quit watching.
Right,
because I'm salty.
Look away.
Yeah, doesn't matter anymore.
That was a cruel early April Fool's event.
Well, let me just mention our guy John Decker from White House Correspondent Gray Television that's on weekly with us. His Final Four was UConn, Purdue, North Carolina State.
Oh, boy.
And he did have North Carolina, so he got 3 out of 4, and he's in the 97 percentile.
So he didn't pick Alabama, who beat Clemson.
He did not, but 3 out of 4 is in the 97 percentile in the country. Okay. Because nobody had North Carolina State.
Maybe I ought to give him a call to help me with weather forecasting.
Well, we have stuff to say here. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's get our weather brought to you by Carl.
Carl reminds you should monitor your skin here in April and talk with your doctor if you notice any changes. For more information, go to carl.org/skin cancer.
I got cloudy conditions across East Central Illinois. Mr. Greg Solier to give us a peek of the weather for the week. What you seeing here, fella?
Well, we're going to redefine active, moisture-laden, wide swings of weather, temperatures, weather systems, and all that here for this week. And boy, we'll almost go into a late winter look and feel by the middle part of the week, then essentially and abruptly bypass spring and move directly, virtually, if you want to put it in the context of the old board game Monopoly, into an almost early summer feel. That on tap here for later next week. And still looks to be somewhere centered around the 15th to 18th, somewhere in that range where we begin the pattern shift into some drier and extended drier weather around here. Until then, boy, we've got a fair amount of rain coming our way with any early season field work in mind. And these ranges of temperatures, we've actually had a cold front kind of stall to our south. It was responsible for some of those hail-bearing storms that tracked to the west and south of us yesterday evening time. 51 at Willard and Savoy now, 48 at Rantoul to 46 at the Kankakee to 57 at Effingham to 68 at St. Louis right now. The showers and thunderstorms for the overnight hours are in through western Ohio already on a fast jet stream current. Our next round of moisture probably going to impact that ball game up at Wrigley with the Cubs and Rockies this afternoon, their home opener. That moisture streaking southeastward out of northwestern Iowa. That's kind of the context for the forecast today. Cloudy, mild, in a range actually of temperatures north to south out of Champaign and Champaign County, right around here in town, about 65. Cooler north, warmer south, and some showers and thunderstorms will come a calling this afternoon. Other than that, just a sprinkle around for this morning. Gusty east wind. Periods of rain, rumble of thunder tonight down to 52. Some pretty good rainfall as well over parts of the area. Tomorrow, windy, turning colder. A few showers, maybe a morning thunderstorm. Highs up near 53, then falling into the 40s the afternoon. And a cold upper system generates more showers of rain and snow tomorrow night after midnight, low down to 35. And it's conceivable we could get a coating, half to 3/4 of an inch on colder surfaces here Wednesday morning. A little rain in the afternoon. Highs up to 45. 40s for highs Thursday. 50s Friday and Saturday. 60s on Sunday. Should top 70 by this time next week. And late in the weekend, early next week, more rain with some showers and thunderstorms. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm Meteorologist Greg Solgay.
All right, Illinois lost to Connecticut. It was very good from the standpoint of score. Good first half.
77-52.
Yeah, but that was the bad part.
Oh.
It was 23-23. And then the wheels came off. I mean, it was 30-0 after that.
Hey, the halftime. What happened at halftime?
They came out and just blitzed us. And, you just step back and give me another couple days. It was a really fun season, and it was a successful season. And it's one of our top 5 teams, I think, in the last 50 years. There's no question about that.
Yep.
I think Lauren Tate writes about that in the Gazette this morning about his, and he put this at number 4 in the last 50 years. So
okay.
It's a good year.
Well, in 05, I know that, we made to the Elite 8 then, right?
05 was the final game. 2001 was the 54 fouls called on us against Arizona. And as many times as there were fouls in this game on Saturday, I much prefer banging around no call versus 54 fouls. We had 54 fouls called in that Arizona-Illinois game in 2001.
Okay, then.
And then you look at the 2021 when Io and Kofi, and we won the Big Ten, COVID, all of that.
Yeah.
16-4 in the Big Ten. We lost to Loyola in that second game in the NCAA. From the standpoint of the tournament, what really is the thing that matters the most in college basketball is the NCAA tournament. So we did well. We got to the final 8 teams.
Absolutely.
It was just a thump. Now the question, I think, across the country is how good is Connecticut? Are they going to win this thing? I have a hard time believing UConn loses to anybody. Even Purdue. I think Purdue could give them a game, maybe, because they kind of equalized the big men. But it was just a kind of a unfortunate way to go, because it wasn't competitive after that run.
That's right.
And there's just, what are you going to do? UConn beat San Diego State, who made the final game last year, by 30 the game before. And they've averaged 28 points, 25 points beating people. So we were like part of the game.
Right.
But is UConn that good? And they just very well might be. But we ran into a buzzsaw.
They'll be facing Alabama then, and Purdue will face North Carolina State in the Final Four.
I can't imagine how North Carolina State could beat Purdue, but I can't imagine North Carolina State losing 4 games in a row and then winning 5 straight to win their tournament to get into the tournament.
Right.
And then 4 more. I don't.
76-64, decidedly over Duke.
It was, they were in control. They made all their baskets. Illinois couldn't make anything. We went nearly an hour without a score. Like an hour, because you had halftime and you had no score before the half and you had no score after that. It went like 50 minutes.
Oh, it just felt so bad. My brother Gary was talking about they're double teaming, just trying to, talking about pacing back. Well, I know he joined the Illini Nation with those sentiments.
You could double the big man, make him give it up, and then they kick it out to a wide open guy, and they weren't making threes. But the big guy just had his way. Whatever that 7'2" kid Klingon, very, very good.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's Brad after the game.
I didn't expect that. But tons of credit to UConn. I thought that we were in a good spot at half, especially after the slow start. I thought Klingon dominated the first half. With his defensive abilities, we obviously came out in the second half and got blitzed. Got some decent looks. Kind of felt like we were doing some of the things we've always done, but Donovan made good blocks, and then they do what they do. They got out in transition, turned some of those blocks, turned a few turnovers into layups, but give them credit. I stink at these, and end of the season deals. 29 wins, Big Ten championship, Elite 8. I don't want one person in this program that's had anything to do with our men's basketball program to remember it about this game. What an incredible season. They took a coach on a ride that was so fun. It's the funnest group of guys I've ever been around to coach in terms of enjoyment, the professionalism, their achievement. It's very hard to win 29 games in college basketball. This team did that, playing the schedule that we played. Today wasn't our day. We're a game short of the Final Four. But getting to the Elite 8, It's not something that we're gonna just forget about and blow off. That's quite a successful season. Coleman's been with us 4 years. What an unbelievable season that he's had, and unbelievable career. Marcus has been with us a year, so we've got the gamut. The guy that's been with us 4, the guy that's been with us 1. Both of them all-league players. Both of them as good a people as they are players. Marcus came in and was everything and more that we thought he would be when he transferred in. The same from Quincy, the same from Justin, and obviously, Terrence. Being a part of that, our young guys I feel great about. But great season, tough ending. Man, I'm so blessed. I mean, I'm truly blessed that I got to coach this group, and today wasn't what any of us expected. But that being said, I might be the most blessed person in college basketball today.
Brad Underwood, after that loss to UConn, Illinois loses, the season ends. That was the first double-digit loss of the season. It was a heck of a year. All right, Cardinals last night late.
Yes.
What a shame.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. The first series of the season is in the books for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals dropped 3 out of 4 in Los Angeles. They had a 4-0 lead, only to have the Dodgers come back to win 5-4, and they won it on a home run by Max Muncy.
Dodgers have a very good lineup. They are tough to beat. Cardinals had a chance to do so. A highlight of the game was Steven Matz pitching well, and Victor Scott picking up his first 2 major league hits. Good for Victor.
And Victor Scott was able to score some runs, a game winner in the game on Saturday night, and helped the Cardinals to a 4-0 lead. But the bullpen was overtaxed in the first 3 games it showed up yesterday.
So extra innings, rain, and short starts the first couple of days did the Cardinals in yesterday. They should be more at full strength today.
And that's against the Padres in San Diego. We're on the air tonight at 7:45. Ricky will have the lineups at 8:30. I'll bring you the first pitch thrown by Matt Waldron at 8:40 Central Time. Kyle Gibson will start for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
All right, I guess our Cubs ended up winning over Texas 9-5.
Both Cubs and Cardinals Cardinals are 1-3. Mm-hmm. Cubs are 1-2.
Yeah,
tough open. So on the road, very good team.
Cubs heard over on US 105.9 against the Colorado Rockies, and as you know, UConn beat our Illinois basketball team in the Elite Eight. So the Final Four will be UConn and Alabama, Purdue, and North Carolina State.
All right, our weather this morning brought to you by the Urbana Park District,
and they remind you so many great programs. And this week on April 4th, a peace march from King Park to Douglas Library. More details at urbanaparks.org.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and Ben Nevis, Saturday active and moisture laden with wide swings of weather and temperatures and seasons this week. And we'll do it all over again next week. Matter of fact, there are some indications of an almost early summer feel later next week and beyond. In the meantime, cloudy, mild for the day today. Temperatures to about 65, but in a range from north to south out of Champaign County, and maybe a stray shower this morning. Showers, thunderstorms will get it going this afternoon, and periods of rain continue tonight. Maybe a thunderstorm at a low down to 52. Northeast to north winds pick up for the day tomorrow, 53 in the morning, and falling temperatures. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm mainly for the morning hours. A little rain and some snow mixed for tomorrow night after midnight, low down to 35. And for the day on Wednesday, cloudy, windy, cold, a few showers of snow and rain, maybe even a small accumulation of colder surfaces, a high later in the day at 45. 40s on Thursday, 50s Friday and Saturday, into the 60s on Sunday. Thunderstorms are back in late in the weekend, early next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting at Rochester, Greg Solgay.
Since Busey Bank first opened our doors in 1868, we have built upon a tradition of close relationships and broad financial capabilities. Our experienced team provides the highest level of personalized service to ensure we accomplish your goals, simplifying your wealth management and business lending needs and ensuring a legacy for generations. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Today marks the start of the second quarter of 2024. Reports on how manufacturing held up for the month of March will be released today, along with the Census Bureau's report on February construction spending. Ports along the east coast of the U.S. are adjusting their operations to allow cargo diverted from Baltimore Harbor, where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed last week. Those ports include the Port of Virginia and the Port of New York and New Jersey. Microsoft said today that it will sell its chat and video app Teams separately from its Office product globally. The announcement comes 6 months after the U.S. tech giant unbundled the two products in Europe in hopes of avoiding a possible antitrust fine from the EU, which has been investigating Microsoft's combining of Office and Teams. UPS is slated to become the primary air cargo provider for the United States Postal Service. And that's your Fox Business Report. I'm Laura Cantor, invested in you.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey there, it's me, Kennedy. Make sure to check out my podcast, Kennedy Saves the World. It is 5 days a week. Every week, we check in with Jimmy Fallon, bring in authors for the book club, and even treat some of your favorite Fox personalities to a very special happy hour. Download and listen at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Kennedy Saves the World. America's listening to Fox News.
It seems like the cost of everything is on the rise, but Erie Insurance can help make sure your auto insurance premium isn't one of them. Avoid rate increases with Erie Rate Lock. Even if you have a claim, your rates won't go up until you change your car, driver, or address.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance.
Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Other conditions and limitations at erieinsurance.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Basketball star Dane Danger on Living at Pacifica on Green.
Hi, I'm Dane Danger. Pacifica living here is just very convenient. You know, a lot of things are around. A lot of my classes are around the corner. There's a lot of food and things over here. My facility is down the street as well. So, you know, for me, it's just very convenient. I'm staying in here by myself, so I have a lot of space to myself. You know, it's good for me.
The ultimate in student housing, Pacifica on Green at pacificaongreen.com. Yeah, what's up with Dane? He coming back? I mean, you have to ask that question of everybody now.
I know it.
I mean, who's our basketball team next year? Anyway, you can text us on the Fisher National Bank text line 217-359-2255. And while we got that far, you always want to go farther.
Yes.
And so I guess the setup with UConn, the number one team in the country and the tournament, you're saying, well, they're really good, but so are we. And now we can see how we stack up. And maybe that's where we're trying to go. UConn was, I think, the number 2 offense. We're the number 1 offense. But their defense was number 8. And they guarded really well, and we're not number 8. Maybe early in the season, but later in the season, 80th? I mean, we weren't great defensively.
Good point.
And if you don't have a big man, well, you can play without a big man, but when they have a big man, Coleman was giving up 50 pounds.
Right.
You can't guard that. And if you get the ball 2 feet from the basket and you're 7'2", Stevie J can make that.
Right.
You're just dropping it in.
So UConn versus Purdue would be an interesting championship because they both have the big men.
I'm going to take UConn against anybody.
Really?
I just, not even a question. I just don't know how you play with that. I think they're that good. I think the country's looking at it that way, fortunately, not how bad Illinois looked, but how good UConn is, because people realize we've been playing well. I mean, 9 of the last 10 Big Ten champions. I mean, all of that, you can say whatever you want about the Big Ten, that they're really, really only two really good teams.
I mean, when we beat Iowa State, it was funny to hear the UConn reaction of, dude, we don't want Illinois.
Fans didn't want Illinois, but what we chose to do was attack the basket, and they blocked 10 shots and probably intimidated 10 more. So it didn't work, obviously.
Right.
But it was the question is, if you double the big fella, and feel free to text in because we're all lamenting here.
Of course.
But if you double the big guy, that's where they kick it out. And they weren't making threes, I get it. But would they make threes if they were pig or horse shots, where you're sitting wide open and you could try and run to them, but generally when you double, there's going to be somebody really open. Mm-hmm. And they've obviously gotten used to the big man being doubled. We chose to give him twos and not give up threes. We shot 25%. I mean, 17 out of 67. That's really bad. So I don't know. I think I'm going to say they were that good because we've been playing great. And I guess you got to see where we stood up against the elite team. The team, I think, in the tournament is UConn. And, it didn't work out. So we can now kind of look back at the thing like Brad did and say, man, that was fun. And it was. Right. It was really, really fun. These guys got along, hung out. We were in the final 8. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, and I'm on X now and the Illinois men's basketball and, some of the, snippets. The journey was beautiful. So many great posts from players. Amani Hansberry, and what a great year. Shout out to Illini Nation, thanking the fans. Thank you, Illini Nation. This year has been special. Justin Harmon's tweet. Marcus Domas, to all the fans, I'm extremely grateful on how you treated my family this season. You showed so much love and made this experience unforgettable for them. Thank you so much. Nicolo Moretti, I can't explain how lucky I am to be part of this group. I knew that I could count on any one of these guys lined up in this picture from day one. Through the ups and downs, we always protected each other like a true family. Thank you so much. And same with Luke Goody, who expressed Happy Easter, Jesus is risen.
Yeah, I love that.
As coming out of the gate here. The whole season has been a blessing. Wow. I mean, there's just so much love amongst these guys.
I think it almost like, darn it, we didn't really, the season was so good, how that happened. And I think a lot of teams looking back playing UConn, particularly recently, they're probably all saying the same thing. How did we lose by 30? How did we lose by that much? And I think UConn just might be that good. We'll see. Alabama's playing their best ball. I don't think they'll beat UConn. And I just don't think Purdue can beat UConn either. I mean, it could be closer, but Klingon looked actually better to me than Edey. Edey doesn't move that quick. And Edey doesn't really have to guard anybody tall like that. So he'll have a bit of an... And I think it'll be interesting for the officials before that game, if it happens where UConn plays Purdue, to say, okay, how do you want to do this? Because if you call 2 fouls on either big man, it's over for whatever team has to sit, because the other team can't stop them without that same guy. So it's an equalizer, and here's hoping it doesn't turn to what Illinois had in 05 when James Augustine got the 2 fouls and changed that game. But I rather have the bang around, that guy got fouled but wasn't called, versus 54 fouls called.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have let them play versus that. But overall, you step back, how much fun did we have?
That's
lot.
Right.
We had a lot of fun.
That's right.
All right, we're going to break, come right back. Going to get the update on the bridge in Baltimore. Can they get that thing cleared out? What's the status of the longshoreman jobs? There are 10,000 jobs, out there. And I know that the trucks can still get to where they need to go, but the ships can't come back and forth because it's still blocked. You got to figure out how to get a passage. And then rebuilding that thing, I don't have any idea how long that's going to take.
Of course, we have the morning therapy for Illini Nation. Here's one saying, rooting for North Carolina State. Kareem Richardson is an assistant coach with Rantoul ties.
I remember Kareem Richardson.
Okay.
So he's an assistant for NC State?
I guess so.
I mean, do you call NC State a Cinderella? I guess it's definitely the biggest underdog. Again, they'd lost 4 in a row, went to the ACC tournament having to win 5 times, and they did in a row every day, 5 games in a row.
Wow.
And this DJ, whatever his name is, DJ Moore, unbelievable. The guy looks like the Pelican star from Duke.
Here's another great season. UConn is just another animal. The key is to capitalize on this year's success.
Mark Meharry was a great wrestler at Unity High School.
Yes.
Finished second in the state twice.
I remember.
The first time he went to state, Mark Meharry had beaten everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The guy from Chicago lifted Mark over his head. And I said, I don't know who he is, but he's a different animal.
Wow.
So when I saw that, I'm going, oh, I mean, what? He was from the University of Mars, actually. We found out later. We will be right back. 217-359-2255. Feel free to text in on a little therapy here this morning for all of us. We'll be right back. It is 7:31.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. The White House Easter egg roll is this morning, but it's cracked with controversy over an egg decorating contest for children of National Guard members.
A flyer that was promoting the contest said kids' submissions must not include any questionable content, including religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements. Now, the White House says this restriction has been in place for 47 years, and the American Egg Board told Fox its rules are mandated by the USDA.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich of the White House. The suspect in the Easter Sunday shooting at a restaurant in Nashville still out there this morning. Cops identifying the shooter as 46-year-old convicted felon Anton Rucker, saying he gunned down a man after reported beef while injuring a handful of others. The Final Four in college hoops for the men is set. North Carolina State stuns Duke, setting up a matchup with Purdue, while defending champ Connecticut faces Alabama.
Here's a look at local news. U of I could soon see a new master's program in video game development. It follows an approval by the UI Board of Trustees. Proposal citing the growing popularity of video gaming industry in recent years. A pattern Bureau of Labor Statistics projects to continue. While the program has received overwhelming support from key figures at the university, it must ultimately be approved by the Illinois Board of Higher Education. University of Illinois Board of Trustees voting to extend the contract of System President Tim Killeen. New contract will keep him as Illinois president through at least 2027. Killeen has served as University of Illinois president since 2015. State agency responsible for training and certifying law enforcement hopes to receive over $23 million from lawmakers this year to improve curriculum and pay instructors. Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board's in the process of making many changes to comply with the Safety Act. The agency also requesting $10 million for grants to retain law enforcement. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Thank you, Jim. ESPN 93.5. NC State beat Marquette.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Father Joe is lamenting this morning.
Then they beat Duke. So who's to say NC State isn't one of those hot teams that just wins it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine that. But maybe. I don't know. I know nothing, and I'm salty.
Oh,
so
boy.
leave me alone. Weather brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvement, specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, outdoor living. Visit kramersiding.com.
Located everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and Benefit Saturday, classic spring weather pattern continuing on here for this week. Matter of fact, almost late winter feel at times by the middle part of the week, and we'll certainly move right back from late winter to an almost early summer feel at some point by mid to late next week. No shortage of rainfall continuing on in these early days of April, including maybe some of the white stuff. Cloudy, mild for the day today. A shower around this morning. Showers, thunderstorms get going this afternoon. 65, but in a range of temperatures actually north to south out of Champaign County. Gusty east wind. Periods of rain tonight, maybe a thunderstorm. Low down to 52. For the day tomorrow, northeast to north winds get going. 15 to 25 and gusty. 53 in the morning, falling to the 40s in the afternoon. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm as well for the morning hours. Late night snow and rain tomorrow night. A low down to 35. And a few showers of snow and rain for the day on Wednesday up to 45. 40s for highs on Thursday. 50s Friday and Saturday. 60s to low 70s Sunday and Monday. And thunderstorms return. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, Abby Roach's Greg Solgay.
ESPN 93.5. Barge hit the bridge in Baltimore, came down, 6 died. Ryan, you there?
Hey, I'm here. What's going on?
Ryan Schmeltz is Fox News radio reporter. So what do we know on the ground on this Monday, April 1? Any progress when it comes to trying to clear some debris, or what are we looking at so far?
Well, I think the big update we're probably going to get today is that the captain of the port is preparing to establish a temporary alternate channel on the northeast side of the main channel in the vicinity of the Francis Scott Key Bridge for commercial essential vessels. So what this specifically looks like, I think we have to wait a little bit more to learn what that truly looks like. But it is a way to alleviate some of the economic burdens that come with not having any ship traffic along the Francis Scott Key Bridge, because this is a very valuable port to not just the national economy, but the local and the global economy too. So getting ships in and out of that area is going to be huge.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was another chance, even if it takes long. I mean, I imagine traffic, amazingly difficult and how they're doing that. But there's still ways to get there, just longer drives and more traffic, right?
Yeah, certainly. Yes. I mean, it's a helpful bridge for commuting. It's a helpful bridge for getting to and from certain locations. And certainly, when you talk about the state of Maryland, traffic's already bad in the Baltimore/Washington D.C. area as it is. So losing a major bridge like this is a problem. But there are ways around it. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult. And of course, that's definitely a burden on commuters. But there are ways around it.
Okay, so they built a bridge, I think, in the 70s. Has anybody floated, time? I mean, I have no idea what it would take to put a bridge back up.
Yeah, no, we're still trying to figure that part out. I think Governor Wes Moore, as well as some of the members of Congress, are preparing the people of Baltimore and the state of Maryland for the worst case scenario here. They say this is going to be a long haul. We're looking at potentially maybe 5 years, maybe even longer than that. We don't really know, though, until they truly get some type of study down and have a true estimate of what this is going to look like and how much this is going to cost. But, we're still in the early stages. They've got to clear the debris first before they even get to that stage.
Are we absolutely sure what happened? Power went out, couldn't control it, current's going, they hit it, it's a 1,000-foot ship. I mean, it's huge, so it wouldn't have taken much. I mean, so they just lost control of the vessel, right?
Well, we still that's the theory right now and what we've been told so far. But the NTSB is still going to do a full investigation, and they'll be able to make more of a conclusion, a definite conclusion of what happened on that ship when they complete that investigation, and then they can start talking about liabilities and who's at fault here, and potentially if the shipping company has to pay anything in terms of insurance for the reconstruction of the bridge. So I think all that's still up in the air until the investigation's completely done.
Horrible, 6 people died, but Ryan, it's at 3:30 in the afternoon. Oh my lordy, that would have been unbelievable.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, it's scary to think that if this would have happened at a more busy time rather than the middle of the night, this could have been, it could have been rough.
Well, the NTSB usually is pretty thorough, so we'll need to know because, again, you're back that big, you can't turn a ship. It's a 1,000-foot cargo ship, and I presume loaded. That thing's going that way. It's going to take miles to turn like that. It's just crazy weight, crazy size. Well, Ryan Schmeltz on the ground. We appreciate the information on this, my friend. Thanks so much.
Of course. Thank you so much, as always.
738, Ryan Schmeltz, Fox News Radio on the bridge in Baltimore on the Tapman's Towing phone line. I mean, that's 1,000. Think about 1,000 foot. That's 3 football fields long.
Man.
And all the cargo. I don't know if it's empty or whatever. But you watch it. If you watch the video of it, just kind of doesn't look like it's going very fast.
I know.
Doesn't take much when you have a force like that.
Right.
How long does it take a train to slow down?
Right.
So this is way bigger than that. So it's aren't you glad you don't live in the region? Because that thing's going to be disrupted for a long time.
I realize when you see it crumple, it's just, I don't know why they didn't have like a football-sized buffer kind of thing. But I know, back in the day, maybe they just didn't do that. And when you consider what our cargo ships are carrying these days.
It's really heavy.
Yeah.
There's a lot on there. I mean, train cars stacked to the ceiling, right? I mean, just all over the place. Those are train cars. Right. So it looks like little boxes. They're train cars full of things that we buy and stuff all the time on. It's just quite the industry. But to see that thing and you're going, what's going right at that stanchion?
Right.
And man, it did come down. I don't know. And then they got to determine what the force of it did to the other stanchions and study the concrete and make sure it's not cracked.
Right.
There's a lot to it. It's 150 feet. Is it 50 feet deep? I don't know if I even heard a report. 150 feet from the bridge to the water, but how deep is the water? 50 feet would sound believable. But obviously deeper the harder and all that. All right, it's 7:40. We've talked a lot about Illinois and UConn as the game season ended for us on Saturday. And again, it was like at the end of Unforgiven, which is kind of a rough movie. It's Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Gene Hackman said, "I don't deserve this."
Right.
He said, "Deserving's got nothing to do with it." And that's what you feel the season was. It shouldn't have ended like that.
Right.
It should have been closer. But then again, as it hurt more because you kind of knew pretty early it was over and we weren't going to win this game. So maybe it let us down a little easier.
Right.
And you look back on the thing and 29-9, it's just a third best season ever.
Third most wins in program history.
It's hard to get to 20 and it's hard to get to 30.
Absolutely.
We got to 29. And I guess it was just disappointing that you looked at, okay, man, let's see how good we are now. And yeah.
Well, and UConn is their coach had a 4 in the air. Is it their 4th time or something?
UConn, over the last 25 Final Fours, UConn has been to the Final Four now 6 times.
Oh, wow.
Every time they've won the title. They're 5 for 5. Who's to say they're not 6 for 6? Be the first team since Florida in 07-08 to repeat. And I can't think of another team that's ever won 3 in a row, which could be what they're looking at in a week. UCLA. Probably back in the 70s when they won like 8 out of 9.
I see.
Other than that, the John Wooden days, this is Connecticut. And the 7'2" fella is, I think he's a lottery pick in the NBA draft coming up. He's only a sophomore. He's had foot problems, so there's that. But, boy, if he came back, good night. I mean, that'd be really hard to – and imagine, the portal's open, the portal – guess Illinois got a lot of people that they want to come here.
Yep.
They see their coach no shirt and playing a super soaker game. They want to kind of come and join the fun.
I love that. And we know 4 are definitely leaving, but could 4 come back? Is the COVID thing over?
Well, it's just about this whole swinging gate is about done.
Okay.
I think we're just about over and past that extra COVID year.
Right.
Which has been a remarkable transformation of college basketball.
That's what brought Marcus our way, right? From SIU.
Marcus is a 5th year. I don't know if that's the COVID year.
Oh, okay.
I have no honestly, nobody knows.
Okay.
They just show up and they play. I have no idea how it works, and I think very few humans do.
Hey, speaking of scores and, great people from our area, Philo, Milliken's Elise Knutson is in the portal.
Yeah, I heard that, and so I think she's getting a lot of calls.
I'll bet.
She's the 2nd leading scorer in America.
Right under Caitlin Clark,
yeah,
right?
So she's Division III, and you're saying, well, she can't play. Can't she?
Right.
Are you sure?
I know.
For somebody
we saw her on the court of Unity in the Rocket
listen,
Center, beating Brian Cardinal's record.
What you need to tell Elise Knutson is she can't score at the big level. Just tell her that.
Yeah,
I'd like you to tell her that. I think that's exciting from the standpoint of her final year. She'll get to play somewhere. I think she's getting a call from a lot of big schools.
She was in my daughter Anna Jean's class
of
2020.
Pretty cool. Okay, so AJ Storr, STORR.
Okay.
The best player for the University of Wisconsin, who was, I think, Illinois Mr. Basketball.
Okay.
Wasn't he from Rockford?
Okay.
Didn't he kind of commit to us and then decided to go to Wisconsin?
Oh.
So what's AJ Storr doing at the Aspen Tap House? Where he was spotted Saturday.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we would take him because that guy, he's good.
So here's Rick saying, at this time of year, I would rather get blown out than lose by a buzzer beater. We had a great year with just a bad ending.
It was a great year with a bad ending. And would you get, I guess so. I mean, would you rather lose 82-80?
I don't
or
know.
not score for an hour. I don't know.
Either way, we're pacing.
It's brutal.
We're
but
wringing our hands.
When we get a day or 3 to step back, this has been great.
Yes.
I mean, and I just didn't want it to end.
It was helpful to me and Luke Goody, in his tweet, having Easter and saying, lifelong memories with friendships. Honored to be a part of this history as one of the most accomplished Illinois teams of all time. Thank you for the Illinois fans for another great year.
And we won in the tournament.
Yes.
We hadn't been doing that. So this was, to beat Iowa State and get to the Elite Eight and one step away, you just kind of wanted to see. We were all curious, how do we stack up to the best? And it wasn't so good. In the first half, it was fine. We should have had the lead. We should have had the lead in the first half. But, so then they came out and just went nutty.
Yeah.
All right, it's 8:45 in New York. It's 7:45 in Champaign-Urbana as we take a peek at sports headlines.
Well, and did you want to tee up some audio for me, or are we?
No.
You know what we should do is talk about the semifinals that the Illinois women's basketball team is in today at 4:00 in Indianapolis against Washington State.
WBIT.
Yes.
And this is
Women's
great
basketball invitational tournament.
Great from the standpoint of this program. It's a process. So last year we accidentally made the NCAA. It was like, are you kidding me?
Right.
And then we went nuts. And then this year we're a little more reality of the progress. And so we still made a tournament. We'll take it. And then the tournament experience for these young ladies and the program. Shauna Green is a A-plus coach. And I think we got a big-time winner here. And I hope they can win this WBIT while they're at it.
That'd be great.
They're 17-15 and playing at 4:00. So go Illini.
And
4:00 Central? Eastern?
Yes.
Okay.
Darn it, that Indianapolis.
Did they change the clocks? Well, we never know that
and
stuff.
Indianapolis is in the zone for the totality for the eclipse next week on April 8th.
Yeah.
So I was talking to somebody about 3:45, but it's really 2:45 here or something like that. Anyway, it's that Indy thing. 5 straight games we are winning in Illinois baseball after sweeping Penn State over the weekend.
Well done, Dan Hartleb and team.
It's excellent. And 14-12 on the season, 5-1 in the conference.
Great.
So we had our St. Louis Cardinals. They beat 1 against the Dodgers, right?
I honestly didn't think they'd win any.
Right.
But they had a 4-0 lead late last night.
And then the Dodgers came back and won 5-4.
Yeah.
Ugh.
3 runs.
Steven Matz looked good.
Steve Matz looked good in 5 innings.
Some of those pitches were like 96 mile an hour and all that.
He was placing it well.
Yeah.
Going up and down, in and out. And
especially with Shohei Ohtani. I saw him strike out a couple of times.
Yep. He got a double later, but he did strike out twice.
Yes,
True.
he did.
Yep.
So St. Louis will face the San Diego Padres, and you'll have that first pitch with John Rooney around 8:40 here on ESPN 93.5. Across the hallway, we had the Cubs beating Texas 9-5 yesterday.
Yep.
They've got a series starting up against the Colorado Rockies this afternoon at 1:20. So my shift playing country music starting at 9 will wrap up a little early today. We had the Bulls over Minnesota 109-101. They've got a game against Atlanta tonight. Brooklyn is Indianapolis to face the Pacers. And of course, we probably already know what the Final Four looks like. UConn taking on Alabama, and Purdue and North Carolina State, with Father Joe texting in, lamenting about Marquette's loss to North Carolina State. They're just hot right now.
I think a lot of people had 2 of the Final 4, but that's it. You probably had Purdue and UConn.
So are you tearing up your bracket today?
Yeah, that's over. 7:48. We'll check Greg's weather here coming up here in just a few seconds. But we'll play one more time, kind of the season ender, on what Brad Underwood said after the game.
I didn't expect that. But all tons of credit to UConn. I thought that we were in a good spot at half, especially after the slow start. I thought Klingon dominated the first half with his defensive abilities. We obviously came out in the second half and got blitzed. Got some decent looks. Kind of felt like we were doing some of the things we've always done, but Donovan made good blocks, and then they do what they do. They got out in transition, turned some of those blocks, turned a few turnovers into layups. But give them credit. I stink at these, and end of the season deals. 29 wins, Big Ten championship, Elite Eight. I don't want one person in this program that's had anything to do with our men's basketball program to remember about this game. What an incredible season. They took a coach on a ride that was so fun. It's the funnest group of guys I've ever been around to coach in terms of enjoyment, the professionalism, their achievement. It's very hard to win 29 games in college basketball. This team did that, playing the schedule that we played. Today wasn't our day. We're a game short of the Final Four. But getting to the Elite Eight is not something that we're gonna just forget about and blow off. That's quite a successful season. Coleman's been with us 4 years. What an unbelievable season that he's had, and unbelievable career. Marcus has been with us a year, so we've got the gamut. The guy that's been with us 4, the guy that's been with us 1. Both of them all-league players. Both of them as good a people as they are players. Marcus came in and was everything and more that we thought he would be when he transferred in. The same from Quincy, the same from Justin, and obviously, Terrence. Being a part of that, our young guys I feel great about. But great season, tough ending. Man, I'm so blessed. I mean, I'm truly blessed that I got to coach this group, and today wasn't what any of us expected. But that being said, I might be the most blessed person in college basketball today.
It is hard to come to the microphone after such an emotional, and let's just make sure we all understand who Brad Underwood is. He's a massively competitive human being.
There's text coming in. This one's blitzed is an understatement. That was downright embarrassing. There are people that are a little bitter about the way things wrapped up. We get that.
It's like, man, oh man, what the heck? I mean, do something else or adjust or whatever. There's that. There's a lot of people that thinking, hey, could we have done something different? But I'm not sure we beat UConn in 10 games. That's kind of where I am on the thing. So the Cardinals had a tough one late last night.
With Ricky Orton, I'm John Rooney. The first series of the season is in the books for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals dropped 3 out of 4 in Los Angeles. They had a 4-0 lead, only to have the Dodgers come back to win 5-4, and they won it on a home run by Max Muncy.
Dodgers have a very good lineup. They are tough to beat. Cardinals had a chance to do so. A highlight of the game was Steven Matz pitching well, and Victor Scott picking up his first 2 major league hits. Good for Victor.
And Victor Scott was able to score some runs, a game winner in the game on Saturday night, and helped the Cardinals to a 4-0 lead. But the bullpen was overtaxed in the first 3 games it showed up yesterday.
So extra innings, rain, and short starts the first couple of days did the Cardinals in yesterday. They should be more at full strength today.
And that's against the Padres in San Diego. We're on the air tonight at 7:45. Ricky will have the lineups at 8:30. I'll bring you the first pitch thrown by Matt Waldron at 8:40 Central Time. Kyle Gibson will start for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and Benefit Saturday classic spring weather pattern continuing on here for this week. Matter of fact, almost late winter feel at times by the middle part of the week, and we'll certainly move right back from late winter to an almost early summer feel at some point by mid to late next week. No shortage of rainfall continuing on in these early days of April, including maybe some of the white stuff. Cloudy, mild for the day today. A shower around this morning. Showers, thunderstorms get going this afternoon. 65, but in a range of temperatures actually north to south out of Champaign County. Gusty east wind. Periods of rain tonight. Maybe a thunderstorm. Low down to 52. For the day tomorrow, northeast to north winds get going. 15 to 25 and gusty. 53 in the morning, falling to the 40s in the afternoon. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm as well for the morning hours. Late night snow and rain tomorrow night. A low down to 35. And a few showers of snow and rain for the day on Wednesday up to 45. 40s for highs on Thursday. 50s Friday and Saturday. 60s to low 70s Sunday and Monday. And thunderstorms return. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, Abby Roaches, Greg Solgay.
All right, thank you, Greg. So we're going to a little up and down, a little weather in the next. This has been an amazing season. The winter was pretty darn easy as it goes. Spring has been great. We've got a lot of sunshine. How was Easter? Man, it was sunshine.
Yeah.
Sun and 70.
And then on Saturday, many Easter egg hunts, and the kids had some great weather. We were in the 70s on Saturday with the sunshine.
It was awesome. So we've had great weather around here. The farmers got the thinking going. I mean, you got to figure out when you're starting and all that. It's going to be wet here for a while. So we got all that going on. I do enjoy driving around the country when there's no crop, because then you can see a lot better.
Right.
So it's...
And actually, driving yesterday to church, I went to St. Joseph in Ivesdale early for my brunch plans to get everything on time. And just to see the pink clover coming up was amazing. So one of the things I did getting into the weekend, Stevie, was I went to the Virginia Theater and saw that Ancient Aliens live with my husband, Mike.
How was the Ancient Aliens?
I liked that discussion about UFOs with Nick Pope that we had on the radio, and Giorgio and the whole cast of Ancient Aliens live. Now we have some things coming up. Champaign Park District with their dance arts will have Snow White Ballet this coming weekend. So the Virginia.org to get tickets to that this coming weekend. And then on Tuesday, April 9th, A.J. Croce is going to be singing songs of his dad with the 50th anniversary of Jim Croce. I know he passed away in a plane crash, I think, back in the day.
Yeah, he was doing some helping people.
Right.
And Jim Croce and Bad Leroy Brown, Time in a Bottle. He had so many hits.
Operator, Don't Mess Around with Jim. So we've got tickets to that as you text in Croce, as the Virginia Theater has that show on Tuesday, April 9th. And then that following Friday night, April 12th, we'll have tickets to give away for Kansas. If you want to text in Kansas.
Carry On My Wayward Son, Dust in the Wind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's great having this partnership with the Champaign Park District and the Virginia Theater, and giving our listeners a chance to win some tickets.
Yep, it'll be fun, be good. Every month we honor law enforcement, and we're going to do that again coming up. We're going to meet our law enforcement official of the month. That'll be in just minutes.
Yay!
You'll want to meet her. Very impressive. And looking forward to that in just a few moments. All right, again, you're welcome to text in on the Fisher National Bank text line if you would like. 217-359-2255. We'll break for the news, meet our law enforcement official of the month. That will be coming up. Also, Trey Yinks live from Israel on what's happening there. That's all coming up. PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Body and Soul has everything you need to get ready for the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon. Thursday, April 25th, it's the Green Street Mile. Friday is the 5K, and the marathon is back on the 27th. Get the personalized service you need. Your official Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon merchandise sponsor is Body and Soul. Personalized service. Body and Soul take care of you with all the gear and making sure the shoes are just right. 1317 North Dunlap Avenue in Savoy. Visit bodyandsoulsports.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
As Tapman's Towing celebrates 50 years of serving Central Illinois, we're always seeking good people to serve our great customers. Our team of expert tow professionals would like to interview others with CDLs, previous tow experience, or a strong interest in serving others. If you enjoy serving people, love working in the outdoors, and looking for a career, not just a job, we should talk soon. Do you have a strong desire but lack the experience? We should still talk. Visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
A court date in the killing of an NYPD detective, CJ Papa, Fox News. One of the suspects linked to the deadly shooting of that detective returns to court this morning.
Lindy Jones is facing weapons charges. Police say he was in the driver's seat when his passenger, Guy Rivera, shot NYPD officer Jonathan Diller. Both have lengthy rap sheets. The New York Post reports Jones has been arrested at least 14 times. He was charged with having a loaded firearm in April 2023 and was out on $75,000 bail.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's surgery for a hernia success, that from the hospital, but many in his nation want him out. Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu once again rejecting calls for an early election. This after thousands of protesters took to the streets this weekend demanding he step down. They're also demanding the release of all hostages in Gaza. Netanyahu claims the elections would only help Hamas and derail ongoing hostage negotiations. He also continues to stress that a ground invasion in Gaza's crowded Rafah city is necessary to defeat Hamas. More protests are expected.
U.S. and Israeli officials are planning to hold a virtual meeting today to talk about the Biden administration's other proposals to an Israeli military invasion of Rafah, that from a U.S. official. The cleanup job continues.
Maryland Democratic Governor Wes Moore said while there were 6 lives lost on the Francis Scott Key Bridge, collapsed when a cargo ship crashed into it, there are more priorities for him. On Fox News Sunday, he said reopening access to Baltimore's port and learning what led to the tragedy are important.
I want that investigation to be speedy and for anyone who needs to be held accountable to be held accountable. And at the same time, we have got to get this channel opened. We have got to get commerce flowing again, and we have got to rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
The Biden administration is pledging the federal government will pay for that rebuild. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan. Help protect your information with LifeLock. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
The group of illegal migrants who rushed law enforcement officers in El Paso last month could be set free. A magistrate judge orders their release following the March 21st melee at the El Paso, Texas-Mexico border. That from the El Paso Times. Now, the judge in a teleconference bond hearing on Easter accused the DA's office of not being ready to move forward with detention hearings. Was Russia behind the strange sickness that struck American diplomats? Fox's Jonathan Savage has more.
U.S. agencies decided last year it was very unlikely a foreign adversary was responsible for so-called Havana syndrome. First reported in Cuba's capital, American diplomats complained of migraines, nausea, memory lapses, and dizziness. Now, Russian-focused media group Insider is pointing the finger at Moscow. It says members of a Russian military intelligence sabotage unit could be placed at sites where Americans fell ill, and members of the group received awards for developing non-lethal acoustic weapons. Russia previously denied involvement. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Fast food workers in California in line for a raise today. A new law sets the minimum wage to at least $20 an hour.
Cheeseburgers that we got used to be $1, and now the meal was like $10.
So will prices go up? Some franchise owners say the new higher minimum wage will ultimately lead to customers paying higher prices. A massive recall for Kia. The automaker says over 427,000 Telluride SUVs must be fixed because they might roll away while parked. The paperwork from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows the intermediate shaft and the right front drive shaft of certain 2020 and 2024 Tellurides may not be fully engaged. That can lead to unintended movement. Kia America decided to recall all 2020 to 23 model years and select 2024 model years in Tellurides. I'm CJ Papa. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. The University of Illinois Board of Trustees voted to extend the contract of system president Tim Killeen. New contract will keep Killeen as Illinois president through at least 2027. He served as University of Illinois president since 2015. Black business leaders say Illinois colleges and universities can do more to hire black vendors. Advocates told the Higher Education and Appropriations Committee in Springfield many higher education institutions are only members of the local chambers of commerce. They said community colleges and universities need to participate in minority business associations. A familiar name back as Decatur's next city manager. Decatur's Mayor Julie Moore Wolf announcing her intention to hire Tom Gleason to succeed Scott Wrighton as city manager. Wrighton's retiring in May. Gleason was Decatur's city manager before he took the same job in Bloomington 6 years ago. Wolf says Gleason's the right person for the job and that Decatur deserves the very best. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
All right, thank you, Jim. It is the 8 o'clock hour. It is the 1st of April, 2024.
Yeah, there could be some pranks on you today. I know my favorite used to be switching the salt and sugar in the morning for your oatmeal to taste a little more salty than
never
sweet.
Got into that.
I know.
Yeah,
same here.
When you do those things, you get those things.
Right.
I don't get into that. Our weather this morning brought to you by Kurt Lenschow over at State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, Kurt Lenschow and State Farm is there. Our meteorologist is Greg Solier. We got some rainy spring-type weather coming, huh?
Yeah, we certainly do. Big ranges of temperatures north to south across the country mean big weather systems, and they'll warble our way on the more positive side of things. Should go into the planting season with absolutely zero moisture shortages regarding soil levels and water lines and tile lines and all that. And temperatures are going to recover. And then we're going to be looking at some ups and downs here. And there may be some of the white stuff too. But next week, it's almost like one of these scenarios. You bypass late winter, early springtime and move into an almost early summer feel around here. That's kind of the thinking later next week. In the meantime, there may be a little rain delay theater for you Cubs and Colorado Rockies fans. Cubs home opener up at the friendly confines. Cold there. They'll be in the 40s, and there'll be some rain as the afternoon progresses there. Here, range of temperatures, 52. Willett and Savoy to 46 at the Kankakee, south of the cold front where it's stalling out. North of St. Louis, 63 there. So, way it shapes up for the day on average about 60 to 65 for high temperatures. A warmer south of Champaign County, cooler to the north, and that shower activity and rain that we see out through northwestern Iowa and out towards the Corn Palace Sioux Empire region come out our way, probably ETA about mid to late afternoon across the area. Overnight lows for tonight will bottom out somewhere in the range of about 52 with periods of showers, some pretty good downpours of rain, thunder and lightning in some spots. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow morning. Cloudy, windy, turning colder, 53 and falling to the 40s. After midnight tomorrow night, down to 35 and rain and then snow and then maybe some snow to coat the colder surfaces. You heard me right. Wednesday morning, some rain back in for the afternoon. We'll struggle to 45. Freezing at night, 46 on Thursday, 52 Friday, 57 Saturday, Sunday, high 63. Week from now, we're going to top 70 with more rain back in the forecast. For Stevie J Broadcast, I gave you Roach's Greg Soldier.
You know, since Greg mentioned Chicago Cubs and Colorado Rockies, first pitch at 1:20 over on US 105.9, I had some fans texting in. Adam, Dad, and I are on the way to Wrigley for the home opener. So go Cubs, and thanks for checking in, Mark.
Well, I hope the rain holds off.
Chilly and wet.
It's sold out. Everything.
I know.
And always take your parka when
That's
you go
right.
to Wrigley in April.
You never know.
You never know, and it's horrible trying to find newspapers to wrap your body in. Ladies and gentlemen, every month we celebrate law enforcement. We are celebrating today with an outstanding college relations sergeant. Her name is Sam Penland. Sam, it's an honor to have you here today. Sergeant, it's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you. It's a big honor for me just to be acknowledged, and thank you so much for giving support to our law enforcement community, which is a big deal.
Cue the band. Cue the band.
Okay, I like that.
Sam knows what this is. It's from what movie?
Beverly Hills Cop, my favorite.
And
Yep.
this is kind of what initiated you to seeing the law enforcement and kind of.
I did, yeah. I loved it.
Loved Eddie Murphy, huh?
Yep. We had a VHS tape, and we watched that movie over and over, and it sounds weird, but I felt like I could relate to this black man, right? So him being a part of the Beverly Hills Police Department and working, actually he ends up going there, for those of you not familiar with the movie, working a case, but he really interacts with people and experiences some different type of discrimination, and just the fact that he didn't fit in. And so as a young child, I understood that, and it could have been just because, you know, I was different, I was a minority, but really seeing how he incorporated his alternative methods of policing, we'll just say, was also like how I am sometimes. And that's not always accepted, or people initially kind of frown upon that. But for me, when you can see the impact of it and how effective you are, it really makes a difference in how you kind of look at.
And the diversity and the new ideas.
Exactly.
I love that.
And so
Sam.
sometimes people think like, oh, it's just race, but it's not. It's a different perspective of thought, right?
Absolutely.
So that's something that we try to embrace by having different people come to the table, ideas, problem solving. So yeah, thank you. I love that. Axel Foley.
It's a great theme.
And I drove a Nova back in the day, and
go.
it was
Yeah.
the same model and everything.
So who is Randall Taylor?
So Chief Randall Taylor is a chief police over at Indianapolis. So he was my DARE officer back in 5th grade at Kenwood Elementary School. And he really was somebody that stood out for me. I didn't have very many positive male role models in my life. So he was one of the first people that I really looked up to in that sense. And I grew up with a single mom. She was working hard, you know, for us, but that was even more important for me to have Officer Taylor in my life. So of course, I also won the essay, you know, but it was important for me to stay out of trouble. I mean, everything he told me about gangs, drugs, how to stay healthy and fit, how to deal with stress. I mean, those are lessons that I carried with me throughout my life. And I ended up losing contact with him because he moved away. He worked for Champaign PD for a long time. And I just lost track of him. And I was really sad, you know, again, having this mentor for me kind of relocate, and he wasn't in my life anymore. But I reconnected recently with him and told him how important he was to me. And of course, he did his part and tried to recruit me to go over to Indianapolis. And I said, I'm not leaving Champaign since this is my home. But yeah, it's been amazing to see how successful he was. And now he's in charge of a metropolitan area. But just to know that he had that impact on me, I think was, you know, special for him too.
That's awesome. And for me, from Tolono, Jim Hand has been part of the Parkland College Public Safety, and he was also an influence on you, huh?
He was, yeah, because I worked for the Parkland College Public Safety Department back in 2000. And yeah, so Jim Hand was somebody who guided me back then and taught me the very early ropes of policing. So yeah, Jim Hand is still influential, and I still get to see him every once in a while. Yep.
Great having Sam Penland, our law enforcement official of the month, college relations sergeant for Parkland College, in our studio. You went through some tough stuff, some trauma, some things where you didn't have any male role models or anybody to really trust.
Yep.
You've turned that into good. And it would be so easy to turn it into what you knew. How'd that happen?
I think from just a young age, I knew that there were people that cared about me. And even though, I had some really important figures in my life. So I had godparents at the age of 10 who took us in and gave us opportunities that we wouldn't have had just with, a single income family. So extracurricular activities, going to the Cranert Center, or even just having board games, right? But really seeing that, to have somebody say, I see potential in you. I'm going to support you in what you do. And that really gave me hope to know that even though I had experienced a lot of traumatic experiences, that my life could still be positive. And I also think there was an influence of just God in my life.
You have a faith.
Yep,
I can see your faith.
Yep.
It's a light there.
Thank you.
And it's a solid foundation of belief, and you celebrated Easter and all these wonderful things over the weekend. But you now share that, and it's given you, some of the hard stuff in life has given you a perspective to probably be a better law enforcement sergeant.
Absolutely.
Been there, done that. You have
Right.
the hard things you turn into a positive for others.
And we talk about empathy, right? And being able to understand where people are coming from. So instead of just saying, I know how this must feel for you, I had the ability and just the blessing to say, I've gone through that. And I can tell you from experience that it's going to be okay. And just kind of helping people who are, victims of crime become survivors of it. And that really has helped tremendously. I mean, when you can go to a family who might be experiencing the same type of problems, but actually sit down with them and figure out, why are these things happening? How can we give you a better solution that is more long-term instead of us just going call to call to call, and I'm going to pop in here and try to solve this long-term problem in about 5 minutes and just go. That we're really looking for these long-term solutions and resources that we can offer to families.
Right. Don't let this crime against you define you.
Right.
You can come out of this in a positive way. Way to go,
Absolutely.
Sam.
Home invasion when you're in 8th grade. How did that affect you?
It was really tough not knowing whether or not those people would come back. The crime was never solved, and that was hard. It really impacted our family. We were already struggling, right, to kind of come back together, but we were afraid. For me personally, looking back over my shoulder, concerned about cars coming up. It was to the point where I was so paranoid. I was at school for basketball, but I would hear what I thought were voices behind me. And it was just, and that was how much I was impacted by that. And it took years of trying to understand that we were going to be safe. One of the things that happened during that time period was actually kind of what introduced me to the idea of getting into law enforcement. I think for that particular crime, we had the Illinois State Police come in and help with the investigation. And that tends to happen when it's a larger crime. But I wanted to be more supported by the police, and that actually didn't happen back then. And I just thought to myself, I've had positive experiences with the police. I know that these are the things that I would want to do if I were an officer.
Right.
And that's actually what got me started looking at that law enforcement track.
So many, Sam, they have post-traumatic stress disorder, and you think of the military and that.
Yep.
You don't think of these crime victims. That's huge insight for an officer.
Yep.
Well, you've done an outstanding job. Everybody says so. And you love what you're doing at Parkland, right?
I do, yep.
You don't aspire to go to Indianapolis and be king of all police.
I sure don't. No. And Parkland is a wonderful department, and that's why I choose to be there, because we actually have the opportunity to work with our community members, our staff, our students, and we don't have a high call volume, so that gives us our dedicated, unobligated time that we can dedicate to these other things that are important.
And you're a townie, huh?
I am.
Okay, give me some history.
Well, this is something that is sometimes used in trivia, but I attended Lottie Switzer #2. Anybody know where that school is?
I don't.
No. It was the old Judah Christian.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. No.
Lottie Christian #2. You
Yeah.
look like you're 18, so I wouldn't have said you were pre-Judah Christian.
Yeah, well, I was born at Mercy Hospital, so yeah.
Okay, well, you're doing great. Okay.
Thank you.
So you have history here, graduated Centennial.
Yep.
And Sam Penland is a sergeant at the resource officer, essentially in college. You are working, making people safe, helping people, talking to people, helping them, and you're giving a positive influence like you received.
Absolutely.
So you took everything you've had, you're helping others with all this. Sam, what do you want people to know finally about police?
I think, so because people often see me and I appear to look young, they don't realize that I've been in policing since 2004. And so when I came in, policing tactics were very different. There has been a huge shift, and the reason why I really focus on my style now is because I have seen hard policing and what works. And so some people might think, oh, well, you're too soft, or we're not fighting crime the way we used to. We are. This doesn't mean that we're not, enforcing laws, but there's a difference now with how we can help people. Or if I'm still gonna make an arrest, that arrestee is still going to respect how I've actually handled, the situation. And that is a huge difference in how cooperative people are. So when we have homicides or just shootings and we canvass a neighborhood, sometimes you don't have people that are very cooperative, right? They're like, I ain't talking to the police. But when you develop those relationships with them, they recognize that. They recognize that you care, and they come back and they actually share information. And that's huge when you're doing actually, solving crimes. So.
Sam Penland, congratulations.
Thank you.
Brought to you by MX Electric. It is 8:20 in Champaign-Urbana. Parkland's star law enforcement official, Sam Penland.
And this is the Fox Business Report.
The second quarter of 2024 starts today. There's expected to be less trading than usual, with many international markets closed for an extended Easter holiday. Shares of FedEx falling over 2% today after announcing its contract with the U.S. Postal Service will end in September. The parcel delivery company's rival UPS set to become USPS's primary air cargo provider. Reports on how manufacturing held up in March and the Census Bureau's report on February construction spending will be released today. The job openings and labor turnover survey will be released Tuesday. It's expected to show 8.7 million job openings on the last business day of February, which is a decrease of 163,000 from January. And that's your Fox Business Report. I'm Laura Cantor, invested in you.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Well, from Busey Bank's community-focused initiatives to local business owners striving in the places we call home, they're proud to announce the release of their latest edition of The Pillar magazine. Turn the pages of The Pillar as Busey proudly shines a spotlight on positive partnerships across their communities, including exciting new partnership with Merchants and Manufacturers Bank, a traditional locally owned bank that values its responsibility as a community institution. MD Architects, an architectural firm based in Indianapolis, making waves in veterinary industry. And in addition, they highlight the recipients of this year's Ed Charlo Spirit Award. What a great man, Ed Charlo. To read these stories and more, just visit Busey.com/The Pillar today. Busey for over 150 years, member FDIC. An outstanding reporter giving us important information. He's in Israel. What part are you in, Trey Yinks? Where are you?
Right now I'm in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Okay, Tel Aviv, Israel. Would you please give me an update? I'm hearing so much noise about this and that in Washington and Benjamin Netanyahu. Is the support fading for Israel?
It's a great question, and it's a question that right now is difficult to answer. And when you look at this from a 30,000-foot view, you've got a lot of moving parts. The political things aside, you have Israeli operations that are still taking place 178 days into the war inside Gaza, Israeli troops operating in the northern and central parts of the Strip. You also have continued threats from the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah that is launching rockets into Israel on a daily basis, drawing Israeli responses in southern Lebanon. And then overnight, there was a drone attack against the southern city of Eilat that sits on the Red Sea. And so there are a number of fronts that are active as we speak. And then you have this issue of a rift that is growing between the Americans and the Israelis over what should come next in the war. The Israelis want to enter Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah, and the Americans don't want them to.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was we have to destroy Hamas, right? I mean, that was the whole thing. And then when it took longer than a week, the Joe Biden administration is saying, this is awful. We got it. And the poll against on the left is unbelievable. And we got an election coming up, but Israel's doing what they said they're going to do. They don't want October 7th to ever happen again.
So the Israelis want to destroy the structured Hamas battalions inside Gaza, and there are still 4 key battalions left in the southern part of the Strip. And while they won't be able to completely destroy Hamas and the ideology behind it in this operation, they do believe it will bring them closer to rescuing the hostages that are still held inside Gaza and also destroying the governing capabilities of Hamas inside Gaza. The question here is how far that American support will go, and it has changed since the war began. You might remember back in October and November, the Biden administration was standing behind Israel in their efforts to destroy Hamas. As the war grinded on and the civilian casualty rate inside Gaza continued to rise, the Biden administration saw that politically it was not popular for them to be supporting Israel, and they've since really taken a stand against Israeli actions inside Gaza. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has basically said they are going to continue their operations no matter what the Biden administration thinks, and despite this new pressure from the Americans.
I mean, what do our officials or what does Israeli officials have to say when you're working against Hamas, who uses women and children as a shield? I mean, how do you fight that?
There's a lot of frustration among the top political echelon in Tel Aviv, especially in the military, because they understand that they are faced with a complex urban battle environment. Still, there are Israeli soldiers dying in this battle against Hamas. And while Israeli forces operate in a more traditional way with air support and ground artillery support along the border, Hamas is able to pop out of tunnels. They're able to hide in buildings and fire RPGs at Israeli soldiers who are stationed now inside Gaza. And so they will face that level of battle even once they destroy Hamas battalions in the southern part of Gaza. They will face an insurgency if Israeli forces hold territory in Gaza. The real concern here for the Israeli population, and it's part of the reason you've seen ongoing demonstrations against the government and those calling for a ceasefire agreement, is the hostages. There are still more than 130 people held inside Gaza. Dozens of them are dead, but the Israelis want to bring everyone home. And that's a really complex issue because you have the Qataris and the Egyptians trying to get together a ceasefire deal, but you're not negotiating in this situation with a reasonable actor, with a level-minded actor. It's Hamas on the other end of the table, and that's what Israel has to deal with.
How does anybody think anything ends if we don't shut the money down from Iran?
It's a great question, and the real concern for Israel is that what we've seen in Gaza and what happened on October 7th is just the beginning. And it's part of the reason Israeli officials have made clear that Iran's largest proxy in the region, Hezbollah, this Lebanese militant group that is stationed in southern Lebanon with more than 150,000 rockets and missiles, it's the reason that Israel is focused so heavily on Lebanon. They understand that Iran, with one decision, could spark a much broader conflict in the region. And if that conflict does erupt, that is funded and supplied directly by the Iranian regime in Tehran, it would mean intense battles for Israel on their northern front, much more intense than we've seen in Gaza. And it also would see an extremely high civilian casualty rate because of the sheer volume of missiles that Hezbollah has.
People speculated at all what would happen if this weren't a presidential year?
Yes, certainly. And the Israeli population is watching closely to see the statements of both candidates, of President Biden and former President Trump, because they see the fight right now as a fight for the survival of the Jewish state. And the Palestinian people also look to the Americans for support in what they hope will ultimately lead to, at minimum, a two-state solution. Now, that's something the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has made very clear he's not willing to consider, regardless of the negotiations that are ongoing as we speak, because he does not want Hamas to be seen as the organization that ferried in a two-state solution and ultimately rewarded Palestinians for what took place on October 7th. And the realities to all of this is that it's an incredibly complex situation with a spectrum of beliefs and support for the actions that are currently taking place. And we can anticipate that the American political election and voters in November will have something to say when it comes to the conflict that's unfolding right now in the Middle East.
But you still have the bottom line of Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran that they don't want Israel to exist. How can we negotiate with that?
Absolutely. And it's not just Hamas and Islamic Jihad inside Gaza or Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. You have these Iran-backed Iraqi and Syrian Shia militias. You also have threats from the Houthis in Yemen. And all of these organizations are not operating on their own. They are receiving instructions, they're receiving funding, and they're receiving weapons from the Iranian regime, a regime that currently, in the background, something that we don't talk about often amid this ongoing war, a regime that is trying to develop a nuclear weapon that they say will be used against Israel. And so it is an environment where Israel feels they are up against a wall and must defend from all what they say are 7 different fronts. And then also internally, understanding that these groups that are supported by Iran are operating in territory oftentimes just a few hundred feet away from Israeli cities, in the West Bank, in cities like Tulkarm, or deeper into the West Bank in Jenin or Nablus. You have Hamas and Islamic Jihad battalions that have thousands of fighters and weapons, and they have the same mission. That is to destroy the Jewish state and the Jewish people, and that's part of the reason you have seen this high-level security approach by the Israelis, understanding that the threat is not just coming from Gaza, but rather across the region.
It's Trey Yinks, another minute, Chapman's Towing phone line. Trey, I think, and I'm trying not to flatter you too much, I think you're the number one source of information in the world for this. I just not seen any other credible work consistently. And by the way, your family wants to know when you ever get to come home. I mean, you're there for the long haul? Is that the plan?
Absolutely. Look, we've got a job to do, and I think that we bring the most up-to-date and accurate information in the world right now when it comes to this conflict. And part of that is because we're able to report independently and freely. We have sources in the senior leadership of Hamas and Islamic Jihad. We have sources in the Israeli military and government. And we really do our best to talk with all of the parties involved, whether it's the Egyptians or the Qataris, to speak with everyone and get a full picture of what's happening. And rather than have emotion involved or politics involved in the coverage, we just tell people what's happening.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's an uncomfortable truth, but the realities on the ground are complex, and we have to parse through the information that we receive and get that information to our audience.
I mean, with the uncomfortable truths you're reporting that is going to be true, Trey, do you worry for your safety because somebody could turn on you?
It depends on the environment. Sometimes I've been accused of working for one side or the other, and I just tell people the same thing each and every time, whether I'm meeting with leaders from Hamas or I'm meeting with leaders of the Israeli military. I'm here to tell people what's happening, good or bad, and if that involves firing on civilians, we're going to report that. If that involves a peace deal, we're going to report that too. We simply just can't be influenced by anyone in the region because everyone has a stake in this. Everyone has a spin that they want to sell you, and we have to see right through that and keep reporting on the ground, keep reporting the truth.
You know, I once met a guy making birdhouses out of coconuts that their feet in the sand in the Bahamas. Does that sound better appealing than what you're doing now, Trey? Would that appeal to you?
That sounds fantastic. And when the war's over, maybe that'll be my next gig.
You need to get a little softer gig next time. But listen, on behalf of the world, we got a journalist on site telling me the information, which is what journalism's about, and you're doing it in a very dangerous place. But Trey, we really appreciate it. Keep up your award-winning work. You're terrific.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Trey Yinks, live from Tel Aviv this morning on the latest on the Gaza Hamas-Israel war, which is essentially what we have. And the U.S. is getting real nervous about everything because there are casualties and civilians are dying, but Hamas uses civilians as human shields. How do you fight that? 833, ESPN 93.5.
Fox News.
Thanks, Foster. Crews in Baltimore are working to clear debris from the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge to recover the bodies of 4 men believed to have been killed in the collapse and to allow some shipping traffic to resume.
Their goal is to clear the navigational channel so small vessels can begin to move through. Governor Moore says it is important to get the Port of Baltimore back up and running again for the good of the region and the country.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Thousands protest in Jerusalem calling for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's removal from office over his handling of the war with Hamas in Gaza. He's recovering from hernia surgery last night.
Jerusalem's Hadassah Medical Center didn't say how long the Israeli leader's recovery is likely to take. While Netanyahu was under general anesthetic, Justice Minister Yair Levin stood in as acting prime minister.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Police in Baltimore are looking for a man who shot 5 people at a restaurant, killing 1. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. University of Illinois Board of Trustees voted to extend the contract of system president Tim Killeen. New contract will keep Killeen as Illinois president through at least 2027. He served as University of Illinois president since 2015. Black business leaders say Illinois colleges and universities can do more to hire black vendors. Advocates told the Higher Education and Appropriations Committee in Springfield many higher education institutions are only members of the local chambers of commerce. They said community colleges and universities need to participate to minority business associations. A familiar name back as Decatur's next city manager. Decatur's Mayor Julie Moore Wolf announcing her intention to hire Tom Gleason to succeed Scott Wrighton as city manager. Wrighton's retiring in May. Gleason was Decatur's city manager before he took the same job in Bloomington 6 years ago. Wolf says Gleason's the right person for the job and that Decatur deserves the very best. You're up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Problems with your current copier vendor regarding service? You can get Watts Copy Systems. Call 352-0428, where service is more than a promise. A locally owned, family-owned, and employee-owned Illinois business, Watts Copy Systems. Our weather this morning with meteorologist Greg Solier being brought to you by Busey for over 150 years. Member FDIC.
Logan, everyone, let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign and Ben Nevis, Saturday active and moisture laden with wide swings of weather and temperatures and seasons this week, and we'll do it all over again next week. Matter of fact, there are some indications of an almost early summer feel later next week and beyond. In the meantime, cloudy, mild for the day today. Temperatures to about 65, but in a range from north to south out of Champaign County, and maybe a stray shower this morning. Showers, thunderstorms will get it going this afternoon, and periods of rain continue tonight. Maybe a thunderstorm and a low down to 52. Northeast to north winds pick up for the day tomorrow, 53 in the morning, and falling temperatures. Showers, maybe a thunderstorm mainly for the morning hours. A little rain and some snow mixed for tomorrow night after midnight, low down to 35. And for the day on Wednesday, cloudy, windy, cold, a few showers of snow and rain, maybe even a small accumulation of colder surfaces, a high later in the day at 45. 40s on Thursday, 50s Friday and Saturday, into the 60s on Sunday. Thunderstorms are back in late in the weekend, early next week as well. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, meteorologist Greg Solier.
It seems like the cost of everything is on the rise, but Erie Insurance can help make sure your auto insurance premium isn't one of them. Avoid rate increases with Erie Rate Lock. Even if you have a claim, your rates won't go up until you change your car, driver, or address.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance.
Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Other conditions and limitations at erieinsurance.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weaver's Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Basketball star Dane Danger on Living at Pacifica on Green.
Hi, I'm Dane Danger. Pacifica living here is just very convenient. You know, a lot of things are around. A lot of my classes are around the corner. It's a lot of food and things over here. My facility is down the street as well. So, you know, for me, it's just very convenient. I'm staying in here by myself, so I have a lot of space to myself. You know, it's good for me.
The ultimate in student housing, Pacifica on Green at pacificaongreen.com.
Jesse with Land's Drain Cleaning and Underground Solutions here to tell you today, hey, we've got solutions for you. You have gurgling toilets, slow drains? Have you been told that you have to jackhammer and mess up your entire house and property just to fix a pipe? Have you been told your sewer lines failed? Your drain lines don't work? Call us today. Have our expert drain cleaning team come out, run your lines, camera them, locate, and we can offer you a solution today. Land's Drain Cleaning and Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. We are honored to be celebrating 15 years of service and want to thank all of our amazing clients for their confidence and trust. We look forward to meeting the needs of current and future clients in the years to come. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana. I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
A.J. Croce, performing Croce Plays Croce, the 50th anniversary show. A special night of music featuring timeless classics by his late father, Jim Croce, such as Bad Bad Leroy Brown, I Got a Name, and Time in a Bottle. Tickets on sale now.
Coming to the Virginia Theater Tuesday, April 9th. Get your tickets now at thevirginia.org.
Big fan of Jim Croce. There's no question. I was a big fan of Jim Croce.
I know, me too. And we've got tickets as you text in Croce to 359-2255. That show at the Virginia is April 9th.
All right, that'll be fun. And, you know, again, it's not Jim, but it's his son. And that's as close as you're going to get.
Right. It's the 50th anniversary tour, and AJ seems to have the same kind of sound as his late dad, Jim, and has some influenced songs of his own that's real Jim Croce-like. From what I understand, it's him just sitting on a stool. I love acoustic
I like that
sets.
kind of thing. Be Stevie Jay's
That might not
kind of
be
style.
too darn loud for you,
No, it wouldn't be
Stevie.
too darn loud. So he doesn't bring a band?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a promotional picture.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great. Oh, okay, it's 8:41. We've talked a lot about Illinois. You're going to hear a lot more on that on the drive this afternoon. Lonte, I think Derek Piper's back in town.
Right.
With Kyle. So we'll see what the boys say about the Fight in Illini. Obviously, once this thing settles, it was so fun. I didn't want it to end. I was surprised how it ended. But we're not going to remember very much that. I think the emphasis has been on, man, how good is Connecticut? And I think that's the reigning thing versus, gosh, Illinois didn't look good. It's more, how good is UConn? Because everybody knew Illinois had been playing great. And so had San Diego State. And so had everybody else they've been playing.
Right.
Alabama's playing the best basketball they've ever played in their life. And they're in the Final Four to play UConn. Good luck to you.
Right.
I don't think you're going to stay close. I really don't.
And one of the factors that came into some of the discussions I was hearing was the experience that UConn has under these high-pressure situations in the NCAA tournament. And this is kind of a new thing for our Illini. Did that play into things?
I mean,
Nerves
might have all contributed, but I mean, it's just that they just really, really look comfortable and very, very good. But the first half, we probably should have been ahead at halftime. I mean, so it was really right there. And then they just came out and went nuts, and we missed every shot.
Right.
Every shot. All right, 8:43.
In an ever
ever-changing real estate market, it is so important to work with experienced agents like Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at Taylor Realty Associates. They have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at Taylor Realty Associates. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Urbana Park District needs you this summer. Crystal Lake Family Aquatic Center is now open, and a few more lifeguards are needed. No experience? No problem. Aquatic staff will train you and get you certified. This is a great job for those 15 years of age or older, and adults looking for a side gig or seasonal job. To apply, go to urbanaparks.org and fill out an application. If you have questions, call the Park District, 217-367-1544. Urbana Park District, you belong here. urbanaparks.org.
What does the Apple Dumpling Restaurant offer?
The Apple Dumpling serves up homemade favorites, fried chicken, sandwiches, delicious chicken and noodles, beef and noodles, meatloaf, all kinds of comfort food.
And of course, the Apple Dumpling with a scoop of ice cream, perhaps.
Visit this community treasure if you're looking for great people, great atmosphere, and great food in Urbana.
The Apple Dumpling Restaurant, open Tuesdays through Saturdays with a lunch buffet on Sundays. On High Cross Road in Urbana, you can look up the Apple Dumpling on Facebook.
Here's another home improvement insight from Kramer Siding and Window, a proud member of Prairie Home Alliance. A new front door can instantly upgrade the look of your home and make it more energy efficient. The Kramer Siding and Window team can also install French doors to your deck or patio, welcoming the outside in, or storm doors for an extra layer of protection against the elements. The estimate is free, financing is available, and the business is local. Schedule your beautiful new door today and save 25%. Call us, click on kramersiding.com, or visit the showroom in Champaign.
Tapman's Towing, team of experienced tow professionals, is seeking others with CDLs, previous tow experience, and or strong interest in serving others. Please visit our career page at tapmanstowing.com.
ESPN 93.5, we check a quick sports headlines. Diane Ducey has the very latest as we kind of now focus on baseball season.
Okay.
No, not really. Still got the Final Four. By the way, Caitlin Clark and Iowa play LSU at 6 tonight. ESPN.
Okay. Thank you for that.
The Illini play at 4 in Indianapolis in the Final Four of the
Washington State.
BIT.
Mm-hmm. The semifinals.
Shauna Green there.
And we had 5 straight wins from our Illinois baseball team as they swept Penn State with their record of 14-12 and 5-1 in the conference. Go Illini! We obviously Elite Eight and lots to be proud of in this season. It was just kind of a stinger to go out 77-52 with UConn on top. That sets up our Final Four with Alabama beating Clemson 89-82, and on the other side of the bracket, Purdue beat Tennessee 72-66, and North Carolina State over Duke 76-64 to set up Purdue and North Carolina State. So check those brackets, tear them up, set them on fire like Stevie and I, whatever. We had our Chicago Cubs beating Texas at 9-5, and Shoto Amanaga is going to go to the mound as we start a series from Wrigley. Had some friends texting from the area, said we're heading up. We had Greg Soyer saying good luck with the weather in the Windy City. It's their home opener against the Colorado Rockies with a 121st pitch, and you'll hear the action over on US 105.9. LA Dodgers crept from behind to beat the St. Louis Cardinals here on ESPN 93.5 last night. 5-4 was the final, and now they've got a series starting up against the San Diego Padres. They'll stay on the West Coast. That's at 8:40 first pitch with John Rooney here on ESPN 93.5. Bulls beat Minnesota. Now they've got Atlanta in Chicago tonight. Brooklyn's in Indianapolis to face the Pacers. Denny Hamlin with the checkered flag in Richmond. That's sports. I'm Diane Ducey.
Not only Jim Croce's son,
but Kansas too, coming to the Virginia next week.
All right, we'll get to that coming up. But you tell people they can go ahead and get their tickets. How do they do that again?
359-2255. We're doing some ticket giveaways. The Jim Croce Salute Tour with his son AJ is coming on Tuesday, April 9th. Text Croce for that. Also 359-2255. The word Kansas. That show is April 12th. TheVirginia.org to purchase your tickets.
All right, I think to wrap up the basketball season, I thought Brad's opening statement was very honest, very hard. for Brad Underwood to come to a microphone. Mike Ditka used to always say he wishes he would have waited an hour.
Yeah.
Brad can't wait that hour. They don't let him. And
They
wouldn't let Mike Ditka wait an hour either. Right. So Coach was just, and I think
pretty raw.
Brad Underwood's, I think is a pretty good composure. Somebody did ask, do you think you turned the corner? Do you think you got over the hump? And Brad said, I think we got over the hump in year 2. And this is year 7.
Right.
The winningest team in the Big Ten over the last 5 years. You've been covering me for 5 years. You've seen that 7 years. He said, next question. So, again, he was a little frustrated by that. And I think the kid meant, turn the corner NCAA. He definitely turned the corner in the NCAA.
Yeah.
Couldn't get past with a 1 seed. So, obviously, there's been disappointment in the NCAA. That's why the pressure I felt was winning 2 of these.
Right.
And we won 3.
Well, and Justin Harmon was like, now that we know, we're coming back. And I felt positive about that.
Justin's not coming back, but that's nice of him to say. That's good. Okay, it's a part of the program. I get it.
I thought he was one of our returning.
No, he's not. He's a fifth year guy.
No,
we that's why senior night, I was there. It was an hour and a half.
Okay.
No, they actually went through it quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. We will take a break, come back. We're going to check Greg's weather one more time.
Okay.
We'll do that in just a few moments. It is ESPN 93.5. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I just tell myself that.
Right.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to have some morning therapy as we begin April together and talk about that NCAA tournament, 359-2255 on our Tapman's Towing phone line.
This is Eric Bolin with Provident Financial Group. Political news is sure to dominate the headlines in 2024, adding uncertainty to the markets. This makes a disciplined investment strategy even more critical to achieving your long-term goals. To assure your investments are aligned with your objectives, contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Invest in yourself and your money with a free rewards checking account from Fisher National Bank. Instead of losing a little each month in service fees and charges, wouldn't it be nice to earn on your money? Switch to Fisher National, where we offer 2.02 annual percentage yield on balances up to $20,000. No service fees or minimum balance required. Simply make 12 debit card purchases, agree to receive your statements electronically, and have at least one direct deposit in a monthly cycle to qualify. It's as easy as that. If an excellent APY alone wasn't enough, our free rewards checking also includes ATM fee refunds up to $20 and access to Reward Saver, which increases your earnings potential with 4.07% APY on balances up to $20,000. When you're ready to maximize your money, look to Fisher National, a bank ready to make the investment in you. See monthly requirements at any branch or visit fishernational.com. Fisher National Bank. Exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC.
I'm Lily Ott. I'm a certified nurse midwife at OSF Healthcare. I see patients in some of the clinics that we are now opening, including in Urbana, Forsyth, Pontiac, Bloomington, and eventually Lincoln, and doing deliveries for women in Bloomington at OSF Healthcare there. Being a nurse midwife today is seeing women through all of their life. So seeing women, pre-puberty through menopause, specializing in pregnant women and providing prenatal care, and then getting to deliver babies at the hospital setting with our patients that we've, established the relationship with throughout their pregnancy. Yeah, I feel like one of the big misconceptions with midwives is that we don't deliver in a hospital setting and that we don't support pain management, which is not true. We deliver babies at the hospital setting, and we support women in any way that they choose to have their babies. So whether that be with an epidural, without an epidural, we're there to support no matter what they decide and kind of just help their labor be what they want it to look like.
Make a difference in your community and start a rewarding career when you join the Regional Planning Commission Early Childhood Education Team. The RPC will be interviewing for open positions within the program during a hiring event Thursday, April 4th at 103 South Country Fair Drive in Champaign. The event runs from 9 a.m. to noon. Attendees are encouraged to bring their resumes and references. Don't miss this hiring event for the Early Childhood Education Program, April 4th from 9 to noon at 103 South Country Fair Drive in Champaign. Learn more at ccrpc.org.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Kansas. Another Fork in the Road 50th anniversary tour, celebrating 50 years of Kansas. With all your favorites and deep cuts too. Friday, April 12th, the Virginia Theater. On sale now at thevirginia.org.
Oh, man, I played a lot of Kansas back in the day. Oh,
and Ronnie Platt will be joining our show, Stevie.
All
He's
right.
the rock band Kansas, and Steve Walsh was the retired singer in 2014, and that's when 64-year-old Ronnie Platt stepped in, and he's from Chicago. It'll be nice to chat with him.
Well, I bet he has fun traveling around playing the hits.
That's right.
Kansas, Virginia Theater. So, again, text in Kansas if you want those tickets.
Friday, April 12th is that show. Thevirginia.org to get your seats.
Okay, stand by. Greeny coming up next on ESPN. The boys this afternoon after 3. I think Derek's in town. He came from Boston. They drove. I don't know. We'll see. But Lonte will be here. Kyle Toscan, maybe Derek Piper after a busy couple of weeks.
Talking a little NCAA tournament, talking some baseball.
Okay, thank you, Diane.
Enjoy the day.
I am Stevie J. There's Diane Ducey. Thank you for listening. Have a great Monday. Talk to you tomorrow.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Illini football star Isaiah Williams on why he lives at Pacifica on Green in Champaign.
Everything is literally luxury, and the price that you getting this stuff for is crazy. Like one of the nicest apartments complexes I done seen, from the moment you walk into the building to the elevators to when you get in the room. Everything is just luxury, top notch, and you getting it for a good price.
To learn more about it or book a tour, go to pacificaongreen.com.
Champaign Park District's Dance Arts presents Snow White, the Ballet, coming to the Virginia Theater Friday, April 5th at 7 and Saturday, April 6th at 2. Experience the beautiful story of true love as it unfolds on stage. Snow White, the Ballet, April 5th and 6th at the beautiful Virginia Theater. Get your $16 ticket now at 356-9063 or stop by the Virginia Theater, 203 West Park in Champaign.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. We are honored to be celebrating 15 years of service and want to thank all of our amazing clients for their confidence and trust. We look forward to meeting the needs of current and future clients in the years to come. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Body and Soul has everything you need to get ready for the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon. Thursday, April 25th, it's the Green Street Mile. Friday is the 5K, and the marathon is back on the 27th. Get the personalized service you need. Your official Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon merchandise sponsor is Body and Soul. Personalized service. Body and Soul take care of you with all the gear and making sure the shoes are just right. 1317 North Dunlap Avenue in Savoy. Visit bodyandsoulsports.com.
Moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
A.J. Croce, performing Croce Plays Croce, the 50th Anniversary Show. A special night of music featuring timeless classics by his late father, Jim Croce, such as Bad Bad Leroy Brown, I Got a Name, and Time in a Bottle. Tickets on sale now.
Coming to the Virginia